The day the aliens arrived started like any other day on the USS Defiant. Commander Alan Mitchell walked through the quiet halls of the ship, nodding to crew members as he passed. The Defiant was humanity's newest and best ship, sent to the edge of the solar system as a greeting party. Earth had been sending signals to the stars for decades, and finally, someone had answered. Mitchell entered the bridge and took his seat. The large view screen showed the blackness of space dotted with distant stars. His crew worked quietly at their stations. Olivia Rodriguez monitored the tactical systems, her dark hair pulled back in a neat bun. Gregory Warren, the chief engineer, checked the ship's power levels, humming to himself. At the science station, Diane Nelson adjusted her glasses as she studied the sensor readings. "Any sign of our visitors?" Mitchell asked, sipping his morning coffee. Nelson shook her head. "Nothing yet, sir, but our calculations show they should arrive within the hour." The crew of 30 had been chosen carefully for this mission. They were the best Earth had to offer, trained to make a good first impression on behalf of humanity. The Defiant itself was special too. Beyond its stated capabilities, it carried experimental technology that remained classified even to most of the crew. "Sir," said Maria Phillips from the communication station, "I'm picking up something strange. A lot of signals suddenly appearing at the edge of our sensor range." Mitchell put down his coffee. "Show me." The view screen changed to display a tactical readout. What had been empty space now showed hundreds of objects appearing out of faster-than-light travel. Mitchell felt his mouth go dry. "That can't be right," he said. "Run a diagnostic." "Sensors are working correctly," Nelson confirmed, her voice tight with worry. "Those are ships, Commander, over 200 of them." The bridge fell silent. The plan had been to meet one or two alien vessels, not an armada. Are they warships?" Rodriguez asked, already knowing the answer. Mitchell didn't need to hear it confirmed. The formations were too precise, too threatening. This was not a diplomatic mission, this was an invasion force. "All hands to battle stations," he ordered. Quietly, no alarms yet. As the crew moved with practiced efficiency, Mitchell opened a secure channel to Earth. "Command, this is Defiant. We have a situation." He shared the sensor data and waited for a response. It came 3 minutes later. "Defiant, hold position. Defense fleet is mobilizing but will take 72 hours to reach your position. Attempt communication with alien vessels. Do not provoke conflict." Mitchell closed his eyes briefly. 72 hours. If these aliens were hostile, Earth would be defenseless. "Phillips, open a channel to the lead ship." The main screen flickered, then displayed an alien being. It had 6 eyes arranged in a circle around what Mitchell guessed was a mouth. Its skin was pale blue with patterns that shifted subtly, like moving tattoos. "This is Commander Alan Mitchell of the USS Defiant, representing Earth and humanity. We welcome you to our solar system and wish to establish peaceful relations." The alien stared for a moment before responding in perfect English. "I am Supreme Commander Zorax of the Craxian Empire. Your attempts at deception are noted. Our translators have analyzed your earlier transmissions. You claim peace while developing weapons that could threaten our dominion." Mitchell blinked in confusion. "There has been a misunderstanding. Our transmissions contained no threats. Your mathematics contained encoded weapons designs," Zorax replied coldly. "The equations you so proudly broadcast reveal your true nature. The Craxian Empire does not tolerate emerging threats. You will surrender immediately or face extinction." The connection cut off. Mitchell looked around at his stunned crew. "Sir," Nelson said quietly, "I think they misinterpreted our physics, equations, the universal constants we included. In their mathematics, they might look like something else entirely." Rodriguez checked her tactical display. "They're spreading out, surrounding us. Classic attack formation." Mitchell made the hardest decision of his life. "We can't surrender, not when Earth has no defenses ready." He stood up, addressing the entire bridge. "We're going to stand our ground." "Sir," Warren said from engineering, "we're outnumbered 200 to 1. "Then we'll have to be smarter," Mitchell replied. "Warren, remember Project Nemesis? The system you've been testing in simulation? The engineer's eyes widened. It's never been field tested, sir. It's theoretical. Theory becomes practice today. Activate it. Warren hesitated, then nodded, moving quickly to a secured console. He entered a complex code, then placed his palm on a scanner. Nemesis system coming online. It will take 5 minutes to fully power up. Mitchell turned to Rodriguez. Raise shields. Make them visible to their sensors. I want them to see us preparing for a fight. Is that wise, sir? Rodriguez asked as she complied. We might provoke them. They're already provoked, Mitchell said grimly. Now we need to buy time. The shields around the Defiant glowed softly, a blue energy field surrounding the relatively small human vessel. In the vastness of space, the ship looked tiny against the backdrop of the alien armada. The enemy ships began to move forward. They're targeting us, Phillips reported. Multiple weapons locked on. Mitchell straightened his uniform. Open a channel to all their ships. When the connection established, he spoke clearly and confidently, despite the fear he felt. This is Commander Mitchell. Your assessment of our intentions is incorrect. We did not send weapon designs. However, if you attack, we will defend ourselves. I urge you to reconsider. Zorax appeared on screen again. Your deception continues. One small vessel cannot stand against the might of the Craxian Empire. This will be a short lesson for your species. The first alien ship fired. A burst of energy, unlike anything Earth scientists had ever recorded, streaked toward the Defiant. It struck the shields and something unexpected happened. Instead of breaking through, the energy seemed to spread across the shield's surface, making it glow brighter. The Nemesis system was working. Status? Mitchell demanded. Warren checked his readings with disbelief. Shields holding at 100%. Sir, the Nemesis system it's absorbing their energy weapon. Power reserves are actually increasing. Nelson turned from her station. Commander, I don't think they've ever seen anything like this. Their sensors must be telling them their weapon had no effect. Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. Perhaps they had a chance after all. Phillips, put me through to their commander again. When Zorax's face appeared, Mitchell noticed something new in those alien eyes. Uncertainty. As you can see, Mitchell said calmly, your weapons only make us stronger. This is just one ship. Consider carefully what that means about our capabilities and what will happen when the rest of our fleet arrives. It was a dangerous bluff. There was no fleet coming in time. But as Mitchell stared at the alien commander, he knew their only hope was to make the Craxians believe humanity was far more dangerous than they actually were. The fate of Earth now depended on whether one ship could frighten an entire armada. The bridge of the USS Defiant was silent as everyone watched the main screen. The alien warships hung in space, weapons still aimed at the small human vessel. Commander Mitchell stood tall, not showing the fear he felt inside. They're talking to each other, said Maria Phillips from the communications station. Lots of signals between their ships. The alien commander Zorax stared at Mitchell through the view screen. His 6 eyes blinked in different patterns, and the colored markings on his blue skin pulsed faster. Impossible, Zorax finally said. Our weapons should have destroyed your vessel instantly. Mitchell kept his face calm. As I said, your weapons only make us stronger. Perhaps we should talk instead of fight. Zorax cut the communication without answering. Mitchell turned to his crew. What's happening with the Nemesis system? He asked. Chief Engineer Warren checked his readings. It's working better than we ever hoped, sir. Their energy weapons use a form of plasma we've never seen before, but the system adapted quickly. We absorbed about 98% of the blast. And the other 2%, Mitchell asked. Minor stress on the rear shield section already fixed. Warren replied with a smile. But here's the interesting part. We now have 20% more power in our reserves than before they shot at us. Science specialist Nelson moved to Warren's station and studied the data. The Nemesis system isn't just blocking their attacks. It's converting their weapon energy and storing it. If they keep firing at us, we get stronger, Mitchell finished. Make sure they can detect that. I want their sensors to see our power levels rising. Rodriguez nodded from tactical. Already happening, sir. Their sensors are very advanced. They can definitely see our energy readings increasing. Sir, Phillips called out, they're moving again. 5 ships are taking position around us, the rest are holding back. Mitchell watched the tactical display. They're being cautious now, testing us. The 5 Craxian ships formed a pentagon around the Defiant. They were smaller than the main battleships, but still 3 times the size of the human vessel. They're all targeting us, Rodriguez reported. Different weapon systems this time. Looks like they're going to try various attacks to find our weakness. Mitchell nodded. Let them. Warren, can the Nemesis system handle multiple types of weapons? In theory, yes, the engineer said. It was designed to adapt to unknown attacks, but we've never tested it against 5 different weapon types at once. We're about to, Mitchell said. Everyone, brace yourselves. The 5 alien ships fired simultaneously. Different colored beams struck the Defiant's shields from all sides. The ship shook slightly but remained intact. Status, Mitchell called out. Warren's fingers flew across his console. Shields holding, the system is. It's learning, sir. It's adapting to each weapon type individually. He looked up with amazement. Power reserves now at 140% of normal. We're actually gaining more energy than our systems were designed to hold. Can we use that extra power? Mitchell asked. Yes, Warren said slowly, thinking. We could redirect it to our own weapons, but that would be a drop in the bucket against their fleet. Or, he trailed off. Or what? Mitchell pressed. Or we could create a controlled energy discharge, make it look like we're preparing to use their own energy against them. Nelson moved to the main science station. If we modulate our shields to glow brighter as power increases, it will create the visual impression of a weapon charging. Mitchell smiled. Do it. Let's show them we're not just defending, we're preparing to strike back. As Warren and Nelson worked, the alien ships fired again. This time the Defiant barely moved when hit. The shields glowed brighter, shifting from blue to white. They've stopped firing, Rodriguez reported. All ships holding position. Sir, Phillips said, we're being hailed again. Multiple frequencies. Put the main one on screen, Mitchell ordered. Zorax appeared, but now he wasn't alone. Several other Craxians stood behind him, their skin patterns moving rapidly. Your technology is unknown to us, Zorax said, his tone different now. Explain how your shields withstand our most powerful weapons. Mitchell considered his response carefully. Our Nemesis system is one of many defenses Earth has developed. Its purpose is not just to protect, but to turn an enemy's strength against them. That wasn't exactly true, but it wasn't entirely false either. You claim this technology is common among your fleet? Another Craxian asked from behind Zorax. Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. I'm not authorized to discuss our fleet capabilities, but I can demonstrate what just one of our ships can do with the energy we've collected from your attacks. He muted the communication and turned to Warren. Can we direct a controlled energy burst away from their fleet? Something impressive but not threatening. Warren nodded. There's a small moon about 50,000 kilometers to our starboard, nothing living on it. We could target that. Do it, Mitchell said. Make it look good. Warren worked with Rodriguez to configure the discharge. When ready, Mitchell reopened the channel to the Craxians. Supreme Commander Zorax, a small demonstration of what happens to the energy we collect. Mitchell nodded to Warren, who pressed a series of commands. The Defiant's shields pulsed and a beam of concentrated energy shot from the ship. It struck the distant moon, creating a bright explosion on its surface. It wasn't nearly as powerful as the Craxians might think, but the visual effect was dramatic. On screen, the aliens were clearly shocked. They spoke rapidly to each other in their own language. That was approximately 10% of the energy we've absorbed so far. Mitchell lied smoothly. In reality, they had used almost everything they had collected. Now imagine what would happen if we directed that energy toward your ships instead. Zorax's skin pattern slowed, which Nelson had suggested might indicate deep thought or concern. The alien commander studied Mitchell for a long moment. Your species was believed to be primitive, Zorax finally said. Our intelligence was clearly flawed. We will withdraw to a safe distance and reconsider our approach. The communication ended. Mitchell watched as the 5 ships began to move away from the Defiant. Are they really backing off? Rodriguez asked in disbelief. For now, Mitchell said. They're confused and cautious. We've bought ourselves some time, but they still have us vastly outnumbered. Phillips monitored the communications. They're sending long-range signals, sir, probably reporting to their homeworld. So we've surprised them, Mitchell said. Good. Now we need to keep surprising them until Earth's defense fleet arrives. He looked at each of his crew members. This is just the beginning. Get some rest if you can. I have a feeling they'll be back with new tactics soon. As the crew worked, Mitchell stared at the retreating alien ships. The bluff had worked for now, but he knew the real challenge was just beginning. The Defiant had shocked the Craxians, but how long could one ship keep an entire armada at bay? 6 hours passed since the Craxian ships moved back. The crew of the Defiant took turns resting, but Commander Mitchell remained on the bridge. He watched the alien fleet on the main screen. They had formed a large circle around the human ship, keeping their distance. Any word from Earth? Mitchell asked. Phillips shook her head. They received our updates, sir. The defense fleet is moving as fast as possible, but still 66 hours away at best. Mitchell rubbed his tired eyes. And our friends out there, what are they doing? They've been scanning us constantly, Nelson reported from the science station. Very detailed scans. They're trying to figure out how our technology works. Warren entered the bridge after checking the engine room. Commander, we need to talk. About the Nemesis system. Mitchell followed the engineer to a quiet corner. Problems? Not exactly, Warren said quietly. But the system isn't designed to hold excess energy for long periods. We're slowly leaking power. In about 12 hours, we'll be back to normal levels. Can the aliens detect that? If they keep scanning us this closely, eventually yes. Mitchell thought for a moment. Then we need to make our next move before they realize our advantage is temporary. He returned to his chair. Officer Rodriguez, what's the status of their weapons? All ships have weapons powered down but on standby, she replied. They can be ready to fire in seconds. And their shields? All up at maximum. They're being very cautious. Mitchell nodded. Phillips, any communications between their ships that we can intercept? Phillips adjusted her earpiece. Yes, sir. Their encryption is complex, but I've been able to decode some messages. They're debating what to do next. Some want to attack with everything they have, others are more cautious. What about Zorax? What's he saying? He seems to be waiting for instructions from higher leadership, Phillips said. They're very confused. About us. They keep referring to something called the protocol that says primitive species shouldn't have our level of technology. Mitchell smiled slightly. So we've challenged their understanding of the universe. Good, let's push that advantage. He stood up and addressed the bridge crew. I have a plan, but it's risky. We're going to convince them that we're even more dangerous than they think. Nelson looked concerned. How do we do that without actually attacking them? By making them think we have technology they can't even comprehend, Mitchell replied. Warren, can you create a modified schematic of the Nemesis system? Something that looks far more advanced than it really is? The engineer nodded slowly. Yes, but why? We're going to send it to them, Mitchell said, but we'll alter it to make it look like a weapon system, not just a defensive one. Rodriguez frowned. Isn't that what got us into this mess? They thought our mathematics were weapon designs. Exactly, Mitchell said. But this time, we're doing it on purpose. If they misinterpreted our peaceful messages as threatening, let's show them something that will really scare them. Warren and Nelson began, working on the modified schematics. Meanwhile, Mitchell had Phillips continue monitoring the alien communications. Sir, Phillips called out after 20 minutes. Something's happening. Their command ship is receiving a transmission from very far away. Based on the signal strength, it must be from their home world. New orders coming, Mitchell guessed. Be ready for anything. The bridge crew tensed as they watched the alien fleet. For several minutes, nothing changed. Then 3 large ships broke from the circle and moved toward the Defiant. They're powering up weapons, Rodriguez reported. Different configurations than before. Shields at maximum, Mitchell ordered. Warren, how's the Nemesis system? Ready, sir. But if they've adapted their weapons, Mitchell nodded. We'll soon find out. The 3 Craxian ships stopped at what they must have considered a safe distance. A communication request came through. On screen, Mitchell said. Sorax appeared, but his manner had changed. He seemed more formal, more rigid. Commander Mitchell, the High Council of the Craxian Empire has reviewed our encounter. They have ordered a final assessment of your capabilities before determining our response. We have no hostile intentions toward your people, Mitchell said. This can end peacefully. Peace is possible only when the hierarchy of power is established, Sorax replied. We will now test your defenses with our secondary weapon systems. If you survive, we will consider negotiations. The screen went dark. Mitchell turned to Rodriguez. Get ready. Warren, divert all power to the Nemesis system. The 3 alien ships fired simultaneously. These weapons fired not energy beams, but physical projectiles that moved at incredible speeds. They struck the Defiant's shields with tremendous force, causing the ship to shake violently. Damage report, Mitchell called out, steadying himself against his chair. Warren checked his readings. Shields holding at 70%. The Nemesis system wasn't designed for kinetic weapons, but it's adapting. It can't absorb the energy, but it's dispersing the impact. They're preparing to fire again, Rodriguez warned. Mitchell made a quick decision. This is our chance. Nelson, are those modified schematics ready? Yes, sir, she replied. Phillips, when they fire again, broadcast those schematics on all frequencies. Make it look like we're panicking, like it's an accidental transmission. The aliens fired a second volley. As the projectiles hit the shields, Phillips sent the transmission. The ship shook again, but less violently. Shields at 60%, Warren reported. The system is learning, adapting to each impact. Sir, they've stopped firing, Rodriguez said. All 3 ships are backing away. They received our transmission, Phillips confirmed. There's a lot of communication happening between their ships now. Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. What did we just accidentally send them, Nelson? The science officer looked a bit embarrassed. The schematics Warren and I created show the Nemesis system as a device that can absorb any attack and convert it into a weapon that targets the attacker's specific weaknesses. We added some mathematical formulas that suggest the weapon becomes exponentially more powerful with each attack, which is complete science fiction, Warren added. They don't know that, Mitchell said, and right now, everything they've seen supports the idea. The main screen activated again. Sorax looked visibly disturbed, his skin patterns moving rapidly. Your weapon system, he said without preamble. It was designed specifically to counter Craxian technology. Mitchell kept his face neutral. Our system was designed to protect Earth. Its ability to adapt to unknown weapons is its primary feature. The more you attack us, the more it learns, and the more effective it becomes. This wasn't entirely false. The Nemesis system did learn and adapt. Mitchell just neglected to mention its limitations. Sorax spoke to someone off-screen before turning back. The High Council is reconsidering its approach. We will withdraw to a safe distance while discussions continue. After the communication ended, the entire alien fleet began moving away, maintaining a formation but clearly increasing their distance from the Defiant. The bridge crew looked at each other in amazement. Did we just bluff an entire alien armada? Rodriguez asked quietly. For now, Mitchell cautioned. But we're not out of danger yet. They're still deciding what to do, and we've only got 60 hours until our reinforcements arrive. Sir, Phillips O. called out, excitement in her voice. I'm receiving a transmission from Earth. They've accelerated the defense fleet using emergency protocols. New estimated arrival time is 48 hours. Mitchell nodded. Better, but still a long time to, maintain our bluff. Let's hope our alien friends stay confused and cautious until then. He looked at the retreating fleet on the screen. One small human ship had managed to hold off an alien armada through quick thinking and clever deception, but Mitchell knew the hardest part was still ahead. They needed to keep the Craxians believing in a weapon that didn't really exist for 2 more days. 24 hours had passed since the Craxian fleet withdrew to a safe distance. On the bridge of the USS Defiant, the crew watched and waited. The alien ships formed a large sphere around them, keeping at least 50,000 kilometers away. Earth's defense fleet was now only 24 hours from arrival. Commander Mitchell studied the tactical display. They've been in that same formation for hours. What are they planning? Security Chief Ryan Lambert entered the bridge after conducting ship-wide security checks. The crew is holding up well, sir, but everyone's on edge. 24 hours is a long time to maintain this standoff. Mitchell nodded. Status report. Everyone. Shields are fully functional, Rodriguez reported from Tactical. But without being hit by more energy weapons, the Nemesis system is back to baseline power levels. Communications remain open, Phillips added. They're still talking to each other, but the encryption has gotten more complex. I can only pick up fragments now. Nelson looked up from her science station. Commander, I've been studying what we know about their culture from these interactions. I think I understand why they haven't left or attacked again. Mitchell turned to her. Go on. The Craxians seem to be a strictly hierarchical species, Nelson explained. Everything they've done shows they value power and dominance above all else. In their minds, they need to establish who is dominant, us or them. They can't just leave without resolving that question. So they won't go away until they either defeat us or accept that we're too powerful to fight, Mitchell said, understanding. Exactly. And based on their communications, they're having a hard time accepting either option, Nelson replied. Mitchell thought for a moment, then turned to Warren. How much can we improve the appearance of our power without actually having more power? The engineer considered this. Well, we could reconfigure our shield harmonics to create a more impressive visual effect. Make our shields look like they're pulsing with energy, even though it wouldn't change their actual strength. Do it, Mitchell ordered. And Rodriguez, can you modify our sensor array to actively scan each of their ships in sequence? Make it look like we're targeting them one by one. Rodriguez nodded. Yes, sir. It won't actually do anything, but they'll definitely notice it. Good. Let's keep them guessing, keep them worried, Mitchell said. In the meantime, Phillips, prepare a message to send to their command ship. Tell them we're growing impatient with this standoff. As the crew worked on their tasks, the shields around the Defiant began to pulse with light, creating waves of blue and white energy that rippled across the surface. The effect was purely cosmetic but impressive to watch. Sir, Phillips called out suddenly. We're being hailed by the Craxian command ship. On screen, Mitchell ordered, straightening his uniform. Zorax appeared, but he wasn't alone. Behind him stood a new Craxian, larger than the others, with deep purple markings on its blue skin. Commander Mitchell, Zorax said formally. The Grand Overseer of the Craxian Empire wishes to address you directly. The larger alien stepped forward. I am Grand Overseer Zolix. Your ship has demonstrated capabilities that challenge our understanding of your species. Explain how a race that achieved interstellar travel only 30 years ago has developed such advanced defensive technology. Mitchell kept his expression neutral. Grand Overseer, humanity has always been resourceful. When faced with challenges, we adapt quickly. The Nemesis system is just one example of our approach to problem solving. Zolix's eyes narrowed. Our intelligence indicated your species was still developing basic space travel. Either our intelligence was flawed, or you have had assistance. What kind of assistance do you mean? Mitchell asked carefully. There are older species in this galaxy who sometimes interfere with developing worlds, Zolix said. If you are their proxies, we would view this situation differently. Mitchell realized the aliens were giving him an easy way out. They would rather believe humans had help from advanced aliens than accept that their intelligence about Earth was wrong. But accepting this excuse might create new problems. Grand Overseer, I assure you that the Nemesis system is entirely of human design, Mitchell said firmly. We developed it to protect Earth from any potential threats. Your attack simply provided the first opportunity to test it in real conditions. Zolix conferred quietly with Zorax before speaking again. If what you claim is true, then your species represents a significant anomaly in development patterns. We have cataloged over 300 spacefaring species, and none have advanced so quickly without intervention. Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. Perhaps you should reconsider your assessment methods, Grand Overseer. Humans are full of surprises. Indeed, Zolix replied, his tone unreadable. We will continue our evaluation. Be advised that significant reinforcements from the Craxian Empire will arrive in approximately 26 hours. The communication ended. Mitchell turned to his crew, concern evident on his face. 26 hours, he said. Just after our own reinforcements are due to arrive. Sir, Phillips said worriedly, if they have reinforcements coming, they might be much stronger than we expected. Lambert nodded grimly. They're stalling, keeping us here until their backup arrives. Two can play at that game, Mitchell said. We just need to hold out until our defense fleet gets here. Phillips, send a message to Earth. Tell them about the Craxian reinforcements and ask if they can push the engines any harder. While they waited for a response, Nelson continued analyzing the alien communications they had intercepted. After an hour, she called Mitchell to her station. Commander, I've been reviewing everything we know about the Craxians, she said quietly. I think I understand why they're so fixated on us. Based on fragments of their communications, they believe powerful species have a right, even a duty, to control weaker ones. It's fundamental to their worldview, so they can't just leave us alone because that would violate their basic principles, Mitchell realized. Exactly. They either need to dominate us or confirm we're too powerful to dominate, Nelson explained. Right now they're stuck in between, unable to defeat us but unwilling to accept that we're their equals or superiors. Mitchell thought for a moment. Then we need to push them toward the second option. We need to convince them beyond any doubt that humans are not to be trifled with. He returned to his chair and addressed the bridge crew. New plan. We're going to take the offensive, not with weapons but with psychology. Phillips hailed the Craxian command ship. When Zorax appeared on screen, Mitchell didn't wait for him to speak. Supreme Commander Zorax, we've detected your reinforcements approaching. We're also aware that you've been stalling, waiting for them to arrive. Consider this a formal warning. The full capabilities of the Defiant have not yet been demonstrated. If your reinforcements enter this solar system with hostile intent, they will face consequences. Zorax seemed taken aback by Mitchell's directness. Your single ship cannot stand against the combined might of... We stood against your current fleet, Mitchell interrupted, and will stand against whatever else you bring. The choice is yours, Supreme Commander. Peace or further proof of our capabilities. Mitchell ended the transmission before Zorax could respond. The bridge was quiet as everyone looked at him. Do you think that worked? Rodriguez asked finally. We'll find out soon enough, Mitchell replied, hoping his confidence didn't sound as hollow as it felt. The standoff continued as both sides waited for their reinforcements to arrive. For the crew of the Defiant, every hour that passed brought them closer to either salvation or destruction. The final hours of waiting were the hardest. With just 3 hours left until Earth's defense fleet would arrive, the crew of the USS Defiant watched the alien ships closely. The Craxians had been quiet since Mitchell's warning, but they remained in position, surrounding the lone human vessel. Status report, Mitchell ordered, his voice tired after nearly 2 days of constant tension. All systems functional, Warren reported from engineering. I've routed power through secondary systems to maintain our shield effect. It looks impressive, but we're running on standard power levels now. Alien fleet is holding position, Rodriguez added. No signs of weapons charging, but they remain at full alert. Phillips looked up from communications. Sir, I'm detecting new signals at the edge of our sensor range. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Everyone on the bridge tensed. Mitchell moved to the tactical display. Are they the Craxian reinforcements? Phillips adjusted her equipment. No, sir, the energy signatures are different. They're Earth ships. Our defense fleet arrived early. A cheer went up from the crew. Mitchell allowed himself a small smile before raising his hand for quiet. "Don't celebrate yet," he cautioned. "We still have a standoff situation. Phillips, open a channel to the lead Earth vessel." The main screen activated to show Captain Frank Sutton of the UES Valiant, the flagship of Earth's defense fleet. "Commander Mitchell," Sutton said with a grin. "Looks like you've been having an interesting time out here. We pushed the engines, beyond safety limits to get here early. Didn't want you to have all the fun." "Glad to see you, Captain," Mitchell replied, "but approach with caution. The situation is delicate." Sutton nodded. "We've been briefed on your creative solution to the Craxian problem. Impressive work. Our fleet is taking position now, but staying outside their formation. We'll follow your lead until the handover." The screen split to show both Sutton and a tactical display of the Earth fleet spreading out. 20 ships of various sizes moved into a defensive formation, their weapon systems ready but not active. "Sir," Phillips said urgently. "The Craxian command ship is hailing us." "Put them through," Mitchell ordered. Sorax appeared on screen, his skin patterns moving rapidly. "Commander Mitchell, your reinforcements have arrived earlier than you claimed they would. This suggests deception." Mitchell kept his expression neutral. "Not deception, Supreme Commander. Efficiency. Earth's defense fleet pushed their engines harder when they learned of your planned reinforcements. We take threats to our solar system very seriously." "I see," Zorak said slowly. "And are these vessels also equipped with your Nemesis technology?" Mitchell allowed himself a small smile. "That information is classified, Supreme Commander, but I would not recommend testing them to find out." The alien commander's 6 eyes blinked in sequence. "The Grand Overseer wishes to speak with you again." The screen shifted to show Grand Overseer Zolux. The large alien studied Mitchell for a long moment before speaking. "Commander Mitchell, our reinforcements will arrive in approximately 3 hours. At that point, we will have a significant numerical advantage over your fleet." "Numbers aren't everything, Grand Overseer," Mitchell replied calmly. "Indeed," Zolix agreed, surprising Mitchell. "Which is why I have been authorized to offer terms." "Terms?" Mitchell repeated, keeping his voice steady despite his surprise. "The Craxian Empire recognizes that the current situation could escalate into a costly conflict," Zolix said. "While we believe we would ultimately prevail, the potential losses are unacceptable." Mitchell exchanged glances with his officers. This was unexpected. "What terms are you proposing?" he asked cautiously. "A formal non-aggression treaty between the Craxian Empire and Earth," Zolix replied. "We will recognize your solar system as sovereign territory and withdraw our forces. In exchange, you will share no details of your defensive technology with other species." Mitchell considered this carefully. "And if we refuse?" "Then we will proceed as planned when our reinforcements arrive," Zolix said simply. "The outcome would be uncertain, but the destruction would be considerable." Mitchell muted the communication and turned to his crew. "Thoughts?" Nelson spoke first. "Sir, this is remarkable. In their hierarchical culture, offering a non-aggression treaty is essentially recognizing us as equals. That's a huge concession for them. It's also a way for them to save face," Lambert added. "They don't have to admit defeat, but they don't have to fight a battle they're not sure they can win." Mitchell nodded. "Phillips, open a channel to Captain Sutton." When the Earth captain appeared, Mitchell quickly explained the Craxian offer. "That's actually better than we hoped for," Sutton said. "Fleet Command would accept those terms, but it's your call, Mitchell. You're the one who got us this far." Mitchell took a deep breath and reopened the channel to Zolix. "Grand Overseer, Earth accepts your offer of a non-aggression treaty. We will prepare the formal agreement immediately." Zolix's skin patterns slowed to a steady pulse. "Very well. We will begin withdrawing our forces once the agreement is transmitted and verified. The Craxian Empire will respect Earth's boundaries." Communication ended. For a moment, no one on the bridge spoke. Then slowly, smiles broke out across the crew's faces. "Did we just win?" Rodriguez asked in disbelief. We did, Mitchell confirmed, finally allowing himself to relax. We bluffed an entire alien armada into thinking one ship was too dangerous to fight. In the following hours, the treaty was finalized and transmitted. True to their word, the Craxian fleet began withdrawing from the solar system. Their reinforcements arrived but immediately changed course to follow the retreating armada. 2 days later, the Defiant docked at Earth's orbital station. The crew was welcomed as heroes. In the debriefing room, Admiral Jack Collins shook his eyebrow head in amazement as Mitchell finished his report. "So let me get this straight," the Admiral said. "You convinced an alien empire with hundreds of warships to leave, using an experimental shield system they thought was a superweapon, a light show, and a series of well-timed bluffs?" Mitchell nodded. "Sometimes perception is more powerful than reality, sir." "Well, the reality is that you saved Earth from what could have been a devastating war," Collins replied. "The President wants to meet you and your crew tomorrow for a formal commendation." After the debriefing, Mitchell found his crew waiting in the station's observation lounge. They stood together, watching as the last of the Craxian ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. "What happens now?" Nelson asked. "Now we prepare," Mitchell said. "The Craxians will honor the treaty, their culture demands it, but they'll also be studying us, learning about us. And there are other species out there we haven't met yet. At least we've made a name for ourselves," Warren said with a smile. "The ship that scared away an armada." "The funny thing is," Mitchell said, "the Nemesis system worked better than anyone expected. Research will be studying the data for years, improving the design. So our bluff might become reality," Rodriguez observed. Mitchell nodded. "That's the human way. We imagine something, then we make it real." He raised his glass in a toast. "To the Defiant and her crew. Sometimes all it takes is one ship to change the course of history." As they celebrated their unlikely victory, Mitchell knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had announced its presence to the stars in dramatic fashion. The legend of the ship that faced down an alien armada would spread throughout the galaxy. And whatever came next, Earth would be ready.